All right, guys, we're back, and today we're luckily joined by PFL featherweight and the man, Bubba Jenkins. Bubba, firstly, man, I want to start off by saying a big congrats to you for winning your first fight of the year in the PFL calendar a few weeks ago. Obviously, now a few weeks removed from the fight with Kyle, how are you feeling? And more so, I know that the eye was a bit of a concern. How's the eye feeling, and the morale after getting back in the win column?
Feels pretty good. No, I looks good, man. The morale is up. We're excited about the next round. I just had some Bubba J next merch come out, so we're looking for the next person to put a good show on, to have a good showing with. With no letdowns. There's my alarm for your interview. That's to make sure I didn't miss it like I did.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. The morale is good. Camp's going good. We got something like 30 plus days until the next go down. So we're just looking sharp, cleaning up a couple mistakes. You're looking at each fight and saying how we would beat me. That's what Dewey does. Yeah. That's what me and Dewey does. How we look at the fights and we ask ourselves how we would beat each other. So.
For sure. And that kind of leads into our next question, which is we just finished recording an interview with the great Dewey Cooper this morning. How much has Dewey's influence and guidance benefited you throughout your career, not only as a coach, but as a mentor and a friend as well?
Man, it's been tremendous. I was talking to one of my friends after the fight, and he was like, what? He kind of sounds like DMX. Dewey kind of sounds like DMX. And I was like, you know what? It's one thing to have Dewey yelling at you, but to be in the middle of the zone, be in the middle of the fight, and then know that you're doing well, know that you got some flow going and your fight's going well, and then Dewey to come into the middle of the corner and to not only confirm that but reiterate that, hey, you're doing good. He brings that spirit of DMX, and he lets you know that you're in the zone, you're feeling good, and so there's tons of ways that I look at it where I'm like, man, I just love the fact that he's such a motivator, and he's one of those type of people who just always inspires.
That's awesome, Bubba. Obviously, the impressive victory a few weekends ago against Kyle, it was made very clear after the fact and after the fight that it was an eye poke that led to your eye, reacting like it did, not from a strike. How compromised were you after the eye poke? Because to me, you seemed like you're in control, but it could tell it was getting to you a little bit.
I was real compromised for about 3.5 minutes, man. I couldn't really see anything. And, I tried to circle, and hope that it would go away. I'm thinking that, it was just a little blurry vision, nothing too serious. And as I circled and it didn't clear or it didn't go away, I just kind of was like, man, this must be a real problem. So, I buckled down. I tried to look for him with the one eye that I could. I found him. And I tried to land that too as many times as I possibly could, because I was landing it all fight. And I knew that in the third round, if I could put some emphasis on it, I could possibly put him out there. And that's what I was really looking to do. I got him a couple of times where I even thought that he would sit down, but he kept right on trucking. And I was like, damn it. I don't know how much time's left, but this one eye is definitely shitty right now.
Yeah, for sure. So, Bubba, I heard you post-fight speaking on your mental toughness, saying you can question my cardio, but you can't question my mental toughness. Is that mental toughness and grit something that developed over time or something that you've always had?
Something that developed over time. In the beginning, you're so unsure about yourself and so many different things. Whenever you start putting your first rest to have some kind of, I guess, leader or mentor or coach.
Probably just going in an elevator. We'll see in a sec.
That's great, feeling good inside you. Like there are different things like that to help you on those type of mental doubts that you have, being unsure, being in a new game, being in a sport that is your own or not. So, that's the type of mental thing that you have to build on. You have to keep creating with your coaches and with your experiences.
Mm-hmm. Bubba, man, you've been around the sport for some time now and you've competed in many organisations. I know one goal must be to win the million and the featherweight tournament. Aside from that, what are some other goals that you'd like to tick off before it's all said and done inside the cage?
I want to whip Chris Wade's ass, so that's definitely on there. I'm definitely looking to see him again. So, that's not only for me, that's for the fans, that's for the people who don't like him, and whatever it is out there. I'm a man of the people. I just try to do what the people need me to do. I think his name's on the list for the things that people need me to do.
Yeah.
But on some real, man, I just want to show the world that you not only can be a fighter, a great fighter, but you can have a belief in Christ. You can have a belief in who you are, being a good person. There's not much that us fighters can't reach out and do, from being in politics, like Pacquiao, to going across the world and creating. Bubba, you have such an amazing ability to have endless ability. You can talk about a toothbrush. You can talk about the teeth that the toothbrush brushes. You can talk about the toothpaste that the toothbrush is on. And you can go from that to talking about freeing the world. There's so much that you can do because of your athletic ability and your brilliance that, there's unreachable heights. So that's something that I want to do, is to just have the ability to have unreachable heights in my world.
For sure. So, Bubba, my favorite aspect of MMA, both to train and to watch, has always been wrestling. When you look at the landscape of wrestling and MMA, what's the biggest mistakes most competitors are making in their wrestling today?
1 second. It's in that PFL bag in the top. One of the PFL bags. The biggest mistake the biggest mistake that wrestlers are making in MMA.
What's the biggest mistake that competitors in MMA are making with their wrestling in general today?
I would say forcing it. I would think, forcing the wrestling. I believe because so many people come from a wrestling background, and you see it all the time. You see so many wrestlers or so many people who get hit, and then they start to force that wrestling. That automatically is a mistake. You don't find too many people who are successful with that style. Khabib wasn't a force to wrestling, get punched, and then I got to go die for wrestling kind of guy. He mixed up his striking as well as, getting his kicks off and punches off, just so he could get to his ability to dominate in an easier field. Not that he was actually forcing wrestling. He would stand up with you if he wanted to, or anything like that. I think so many people are what they get wrong is not mixing the martial of the arts. They truly try to stick in, and they jump in one pool, they jump out of that pool, and they jump into another pool, they jump out of that pool and jump into another one, when the best guys are just swimming in all the waters.
Yeah.
100%. Bubba, as someone with such an accredited wrestling background like yourself, do you think there is any one dominant style of wrestling, such as freestyle, folk style, or sambo, or do you think it comes down to the individual's the individual competitor's ability to apply their own skill set?
I think the college style of wrestling, man, is the hardest, because it teaches you so much about control. Freestyle teaches you how to take people down, but on top, it doesn't give you that control. You can throw people, or you can be on top and try to look for your parterre turns, and after about 10 seconds, they're bringing you back to your feet, where it's more of a takedown athletic field again. I think in college wrestling, where you have to take people down, you have to control them, the intensity of which it works. I think that's the best thing for mixed martial arts. But it really does go to whoever the athlete is. Not every alligator can swim in the waters that sharks can, but there are some alligators that can get in those waters. So it all depends on the athlete at hand.
For sure. So we've had the opportunity to talk to other accredited wrestlers such as Lance Palmer and Huffy Stotts in the past, and they've talked about how humbling it is to go from being really good at wrestling to essentially having to be a beginner again at jiu-jitsu or in striking. When you started your journey as a complete mixed martial artist, did it excite you to be able to start from fresh in a sense and build new skill sets?
Yeah, it absolutely excited me. But not only that, I was a natural, I'm from a hard area. So, street fights was one of the things, it was basketball games, street fights, hanging with the bros, things like that. That's kind of like, my community, we know some things about that. So to be a wrestler that was not allowed to street fight, obviously you can't be street fighting on your teams or in school or anything like that. So to be a wrestler, I was extremely excited about the ability that I had in wrestling and the the mentality that I had for fighting. You know, I'm a natural, whether I was in sport, whether I was in wrestling or not, you could tell that I was a fighter, you know? So, I wear that fighting, that warrior spirit. I could be playing badminton and, you know, I'm spiking that shit with the Warriors intensity. So, you know, but I think that's the way it is. And for sure, that's what it is.
Bubba, one thing you've displayed in your career is the ability to evolve and reflect on losses while taking nothing away from your opponent. Do you find that losses make you more focused on fixing the technical aspects of your game, or more so they ignite and strengthen and fire your mentality side and really strengthen your mentality?
Well, I don't really feel like, except for like my first loss against Georgie Karakhanyan, right, where I lost, and I don't think if I would have been in kind of great shape or anything, I think I would have lost that fight technically, regardless, because he was so much more experienced. I think I was on like fight 6 or 7, like that, fighting basically in the semifinals, Grand Prix, and Bellator, without really knowing how to truly throw a punch. You know, I was basically street fighting and NCAA wrestling, and it happened to, you know, give me a good record and beat some good guys. But when it comes down to what was the question? Sorry. Go back to the question.
Yeah, man. Just when you with losses, do you find that you more so have to strengthen the technical aspect of your game, or is it more so something that in the mentality side where your mentality needs to be fired up or stuff like that?
I think that also it strengthens the mentality. I don't think, like I said, when I lost to Georgia Karakhanyan, I think no matter what technique I would have learned, I think because of the experience I would have lost. But most of the fights that I have, I feel like, you know, I like I'm saying now, it's me versus me. It's bad man versus bad man. So whenever I take a loss, it's not like something that we did in the technique that was wrong or something like that. It was a lot of a mentality issue. I didn't have the right mind, the right focus. I didn't have the right, you know, something where, you know, I was off. Of course, you know, without, you know, taking credit away from opponents. But surely there's a place where when you lose with a man like myself, I feel like it was my bad, not my opponents, although they do good things to get the victory.
Yeah, for sure. So, look, final question from us, Bubba. As an athlete, you've achieved so much inside of the cage and on the wrestling mats, but outside of the cage, are there any goals personally that you want to achieve in your personal life?
Yeah, you know, Ali Abdelaziz is my agent. You know, him being the type of person he is, the type of caring and loving person that he is to all of his fighters and how many fighters he have. I've always had that want to not only create something like that, even before I knew who Ali Abdelaziz was, even before I knew he, you know, was an awesome person that he is, even before I signed with him as my agent, he was the way to grow in the sport and then to help other people and then to give them a platform or to give them a route to take to success for them to like fight their way out. You know, me going back to, you know, my home where my bloodline's from in Africa and dealing with the king out there, you know, that's something that I want to achieve. And that's, you know, giving back to the sport, not only in the wrestling community and in the mixed martial arts community, but just the combat world, really just touching all the warriors who really want, you know, who really need that opportunity that I was given.
Yeah, for sure. Look, Bubba, man, we don't want to take up too much of your time. I know we're going to your fights and you're on the way there, so we'll let you go. But we really appreciate you giving us some time this morning or this afternoon for you. And look, man, we'd love to chat to you again, especially after you got your next fight in 30 days. Absolutely, so we'd love to chat again, man. And take care. Good luck.
I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you, and let me know when this is coming out. I'll blast it on all my platforms and make you guys famous like you're making me famous.
Definitely, man. Easy.
Appreciate you, Bubba.
Thanks,
Thank you, brother.
We'll see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
See you, Bubba.